Hello and welcome to the State of Real Estate. Edwin Masime is my name, and I do hope the Lord has kept you well. Now, before we go any further, just to remind you that the Homes and Gardeners Expo 2024 is around the corner on the 24th and the 25th, where we shall gather over 80 of the leading players in the real estate sector, from the developers to the mortgage players, the mortgage industry players, to the supply chain, the entire value chain of the construction industry, to interior designers, some of the finest interior designers. And we are focusing, remember, this year on sustainability, the promotion of green buildings. And the exciting news is that this year we shall host the Green Economy Pavilion at the Homes Expo. That I keep getting that question in the inbox over the understanding of what green buildings are. Now, to understand the positioning of what green buildings are all about, we must put it in context of understanding the climate change conditions that are prevailing across the world today. So it means that for us players in the real estate industry, it's important to keep the future in mind when we are constructing today. We're looking at practices that are environmentally friendly and are responsive and responsible for the environment when we are constructing. I just want to also remind you that, of course, the Property Show now has DL, which is Dream Living, that provides you services from designing your space to implementing and executing what your space ought to look like. Give us a call on that hotline and we'll be able to advise you on how best your property can be modeled towards sustainability standards. Now, of course, the budget reading for 2024 was presented, and one of the concerns that we definitely have as stakeholders in the industry is that, again, for another year running, there's not a single attribution towards the real estate sector. That what we long to see is the Ministry of Housing coming out with policy on trying to address the housing deficit in the country, because addressing the housing deficit is part of sustainability. We all know that our housing deficit gap still stands at 2.4 million housing units. The latest statistics from UBOS, the Bureau of Statistics, this week announced that we are averagely 45.9 million people, and the population keeps growing and growing. It's very important that when we're talking about sustainability practices in construction, in the real estate industry, in setting up infrastructure, we are mindful of the population growth rate, the urban population versus the rural population. Now, what we constantly see that we'll address on the State of Real Estate right now is the fact that the rural-urban migration also seems to be pumping more pressure on the availability of the infrastructure and housing facility in urban centers. And that's a call to municipality leaders and mayors that the conversation around housing needs to be taken a little more seriously. That's why I'm inviting you that at the Sustainability Forum 2024 at the Homes Expo, we will guide you. We will have key experts who will be sharing with us knowledge and key practices on how we actually can embrace sustainability in all our practices. Congratulations to Kampala city that won the award for one of the most sustainable cities in Africa. To answer the question on what green buildings are about, you need to understand that there are three categories of green buildings. Number one, you have the LEED buildings. Now, the LEED is where these are LEED certified buildings. When you say that a property is LEED certified, it simply means that this property it's defined as leadership in energy and environmental design. And this is the world's mostly widely used green building rating system. Highly efficient and cost-saving green buildings which offer environmental, social, and government benefits. And some of the leading countries with LEED certified buildings, of course, this is one of the models that is used to categorize what LEED certified buildings are about. The second category to the LEED certified buildings, of course, we look at the Energy Star buildings. Energy Star buildings. And the third category is the naturally occurring or net buildings. Now, if you want to understand well what the net buildings would be, you're discussing buildings that are advancing us more towards a net zero economy. Now, when you look at the physical planning where the Uganda Parliament is, alongside all the buildings that are being added onto in that particular zone. These buildings now definitely do not aim at fitting the category of the net zero structures. There's a long road ahead for us to be able to move towards sustainability practices in the standards of our construction industry. Fee is only 10,000 Uganda shillings at the Sheraton Hotel Gardens, where we shall be hosting the Homes and Gardeners Expo. For more details, you can go on to olimafrica.com. Olim Africa, Olim Group is one of the organizers of the expo. You can find more details. If you want to sharpen your knowledge more on what the world of design, modern design, is about, come to the expo. If you want to know what the mortgage industry looks like right now, how you can take advantage and leverage your financing, again, come over to the expo. What are the latest products and services on the market for the construction industry? We have all the answers at the Homes and Gardeners Expo, where all shall be made available to you. And guess what? There are special discounts to every product or service you acquire at the expo. Our goal and mission for 2030 is to ensure that we're moving the construction and real estate sector towards a net zero sector, towards an industry that is sustainability best. Enjoy the rest of the show, and God bless you.